But yeah, so I just want to start off just first of all, um, just congrats to everything that y'all have been doing. Um, from Drop Dead to Black Star to everything. It's
Thank you.
interesting because yeah, I've been looking at it happen, and it's just really cool seeing that happen for creatives, specifically Black creatives. It's like that's just hard to me.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
so yeah, first starting off with that, but really want to start off like how did kind of Black Star get going, and even into if you want to talk about Drop Dead and stuff and some of that stuff before that, how'd you really get going with music and stuff?
Yeah, okay. So I guess the order of how stuff worked was, I mean, growing up as a kid, I was always like really interested in doing music and everything like that. Um, Kanye West, T.I., Ludacris, 50 Cent, like all of the popular rappers, Jay-Z, Wayne, like all of that stuff I was looking at initially, and then got into like Michael Jackson. I think that was like the first artist I ever like really stand or whatever, and like knew his whole discography. So I got really into him. And then I got deeper into music from there, like went through like, a real hip hop phase. Uh, then I found Nirvana, and then that changed everything for me. And then the next year, Yonkers came out, and I found out Future, and then that was
Man,
the real turning point of like, I knew I wanted to be a musician, always. Like I've never thought about me doing anything else, but when Yonkers came out, that was like the real turning point of like, this is what I have to do in my life. So that's where the idea of like Drop Dead came from. Like not initially, but I just like one day when I was older, have a big rap collective like that. So that's where Drop Dead stemmed from. And then like over the years, I just met those guys like one by one, and we became a team. And then as far as Blackstarkids, I think I might. So as far as Blackstarkids, Purple Naked Ladies came out December of 2011 by the internet. And
mhm.
that was what made me be like, this is way before I knew like DeAndre and Gabe, but it made me be like, I have to do a group like this too. Because I'd already wanted to do a band, like just listening to like Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins and Offspring and Green Day and all of this stuff. And I was like really young, but seeing the internet and hearing Purple Necklace Ladies, it was like, it felt like something I could actually do. It felt like I was being represented,
Yeah,
you know. So that was a game changing album for me, and so that's when I knew I wanted to have a group like that. But Drop Dead came first because I met a bunch of guys, and really none of us rapped when we met each other. Like none of us could rap, but it's just like we knew that we wanted to rap, and we just all started like rapping. And I remember Medici and Zane started doing beats. Like, it just kind of naturally happened like that. As far as Blackstarkids, I went to school with Gabe and DeAndre, like long story short, because there was like two different schools and I went to both. It was kind of, so did DeAndre. We both went to both of our local schools. And I ended up meeting both of them. And I was making music with DeAndre on the side. We did a project in 2018 called Basket Case. And so I've been making music with him. And then Gabe, I've been making music with her too, working on like the Drop Dead stuff. So I think one day it just clicked in my head, like that dream, like alternative group of like Black kids, I can make that come true with like these people. Like it was like the perfect fit of people. And it just, yeah, we came together to do it, and we made our album Let's Play Sports.
hmm
But when we were doing that, it was really to the side of Drop Dead at that point. We didn't, we weren't really taking it like full focus. Like it wasn't our full focus. But life happened, and we just kind of figured that that was the best move for us. Excuse me, like the best move for us on like a personal level and the musical level too. Because when we were making Surf, it was like the most inspired I had been.
hmm And so walk me through the sound. First of all, I for sure hear Pharrell, and you tweet about Pharrell
Yeah.
all the time. But
Yeah.
I can hear it as a big fan of Pharrell. I can hear. But what's so cool is, there's one thing where someone's influence and it's imitation, but kind of with Blackstarkids, it's like taking the torch forward in terms of like
Thank you
where
so
we are in
much.
music and stuff. Like for me, I mean, because I mean, I've listened to a little bit of like bedroom pop and kind of pop and like indie pop that's come out recently, but I never
Mhm.
dived super deep into it because the one thing I never saw is I never saw Black people doing it.
For sure.
And it's like you guys took kind of the foundation of what Pharrell had did in terms of just like ideas, and took the palette forward, like the bells and all the stuff y'all be using, like that guitar tone. I don't know. It's kind of like this overdrive guitar tone that uh, DeAndre does, but he does guitar. I'm listening for the group,
Yeah, yeah, he
um,
does.
so it's just like a really cool sound, um, and it's just been interesting seeing that manifest. The one thing I did want to ask about was, well, talk about the art direction, because coming from Let's Play Sports, it was kind of like y'all was just kind of chilling, vibing, but now it's like the art has taken such a inventive kind of route in terms of videos. Like the Frankie Muniz art was crazy.
Thank you,
So
man. Yeah.
how's that kind of come together?
Okay, so as far as like the art, we on Let's Play Sports, like I said, we were just really kind of just going with the flow on that. So we didn't really overthink that too much. DeAndre's little brother took those pictures,
Mm,
and DeAndre just edited the art. I'm pretty sure like on his phone, and it was just inspired by like 80s catalog ads. Um, then after that, like we definitely started looking more into the visual aspect of things because I felt like we were making something that it needed a strong visual component to match because I felt like people could have gravitated towards it. So Surf, like the cover art, I just was really inspired by. I wanted it to feel like an underground cool album that you found at like a record store and you were just like, oh,
mhm.
what's this, and the videos, like we did those. Every video for Surf was like zero budget, like we just winged it. Like there was no money put into those first two albums because we didn't have any money, so we were just just going off like pure creativity. And even for this new album, whatever, man, I mean, like musically there was no budget because we just did it all by ourselves. But it's been amazing to be able to have a backing and the financial support from our label. So we've been able to like really level up, but also like we've just, which because I feel like a lot of people who do like the DIY, they try to kind of keep it going, like, oh yeah, we're still DIY, like when they're not. Like that's whack. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Mhm.
We definitely do have people helping us now. But also we built like a really solid team. We met a guy named Jay Kelly who does all our photography, and he just has like a great eye. And we work with Daniel Ruiz on this era stuff. He did the work for the Drop Dead albums too, and he's a
Word.
genius. Like I'm not even trying to gas it. Like I like my stuff sort of simple, so you don't get to see all that he could really do. But he goes crazy. Like I really think bigger artists should tap in with him. But yeah, so like
Word.
working with them and then working with Jerry P, who edits all our videos, and he's just like one of our best friends. Like we kick it with him all the time. Like we're just lucky enough to have like really talented people at our disposal when it comes to like the visual department. And then as far as what you were asking about like the sound and like what influences the sounds when it comes to Blackstarkids, definitely Pharrell. Like you hit the nail on the head with that because yeah, I'm a huge Pharrell stan. He's my favorite artist of all time. And like
I
NERD,
feel, man.
Neptunes, Pharrell solo, and my mom mixtape, like anything
Yeah,
he involved with, I'm
man.
on it heavy. So, I love Pharrell and he's a huge influence on all of us. But, also, uh, I mean, of course, Tyler and Frank are like just influences on life. But in Kanye West, like the obvious ones. But then there's like Tora and Moi, who you really look up to.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
man.
feel it, dog.
Yeah, I love Toro. Blood Orange is a huge inspiration too, and it was dope, because they were once again like people who were like represented for our community in these fields who we weren't fully represented in beforehand.
Yeah.
So it's great to see them just go crazy and they showed us like there's no limitations on what you could do, but and of course Outkast. Tribe Called Quest. Like we love the Beastie Boys, Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins. MGMT is a huge influence on us. The 1975. It's some like we listen to all kinds of stuff while we're just from older stuff to newer stuff. Like I think the best thing you could do as an artist is just really let yourself be inspired by everything in some way, and just see what you can
literally.
use.
Yeah, it's because when you find with so many people like Tyler, Pharrell, Ye, like they're like these savants of sounds because they
Yeah.
listen to so much. It's like people always wonder like where did they get that sample? How did they know that? It's like no, it's just they listen to a high volume of stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to. Not
Yeah,
everybody is built like that. I'm not even gonna act
yeah,
like the way that Tyler knows about music. I can't even act like I could even do that.
it's
Because
actually
like
scary.
because how much he's like he finds new music every single day, and me is kind
Yeah,
of like, man, sometimes you just want to listen to the same album for a week straight.
yeah,
But yeah, not everybody's built like that. Like if you have that ear, you're special. Like you really are.
most definitely,
Somebody
man.
else who I wanted to bring up for influence because I always forget to say him, Kid Cudi. I always
Oh
forget to
man,
mention
yeah,
Cudi.
no, I
Yeah,
feel that.
yeah,
It's crazy because it's like Cuddy, one of those things where some people they're influential in the moment. Like people kind of had an idea that our future was influential in the moment, but like Cuddy is one of those things. I mean, you used to get bullied for
for
listening to
listening to
Cuddy.
Cudi on
Like,
God, on
yeah,
God.
like I remember my freshman year, like Indica, like this is like high school kids. Like, man, what you listening to that for?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
You
yeah,
go
no,
to
it's just
school,
interesting.
yeah, like you go to school and you listen to Cudi. They're like, you depressed? Like, what's wrong with you?
No, literally.
Like.
But there was
But
just so much he was
now,
doing, man.
for sure, like now you look at Cudi and like, Cudi is still around and getting his flowers, which is like super dope. And like he
Yeah.
deserves it for sure. But it's also like you see, it wasn't cool to listen to Cudi, but Cudi inspired Travis Scott. And everybody listened to like
Literally.
Travis Scott. So it's just like, if it doesn't come around the first time, the second or third time, so that's why like if you're an artist, like I feel like you might be doing what is inspiring the cool thing, even if you're not considered the cool thing.
Hmm. So what was it about like Nirvana, Offspring, kind of like those '90s bands that really like stuck out to you?
Um, you know, I was around maybe like 10 years old when I
Hmm.
found them. And the reason why I found them was because I was having a conversation with my dad. And we were talking about, because, I get a lot of my music taste from my dad. And we were talking about Lil Wayne had just put out the Rebirth album. You
Oh
remember that?
man,
Yeah, that was
yes,
wild.
I actually
Yeah.
love it.
I think I honestly hadn't even listened to it at the time. I
Hmm.
was like really just going off of everybody else's opinion, you know? And I was saying
I
like,
feel yeah.
I'm just like, bro, like that album is trash because rock music is trash. Like that's what I told my dad. And my dad was just like, I feel like a kid like you, because I love the music. He was like, I feel like you would love rock. He didn't know any rock bands to show me. Like, like he doesn't know listen to rock at all, but he knew Nirvana.
Hmm.
So he showed me Smells Like Teen Spirit because that's like the closest reference that he had. And I just instantly fell in love with it because it felt real. And white people's
Yeah.
music, I'm gonna come clean. Like white people's music before that had never felt like it was real or it was coming from the heart. You know what I mean? And seeing that video, I'm like, this feels real. Like this feels like they was being themselves. Like this is they swag exclusively. They not stealing our
Yeah.
swag. Like they doing them, and it's cool. Like they were being themselves, and I think that's what I like so much. Is it's just like it's cool, and it inspired me a lot. Like still to this day. So for sure.
I feel that. And Wayne got bullied for Rebirth, but I take that to the grave. That's one of my favorite Wayne albums. I took it to the
Man,
grave.
he was ahead of his time with that for sure. I feel
Yeah,
like
no,
that would have went
definitely.
over a lot better now.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. But or yeah, no, that's kind of, I just feel that in terms of like, because that 90s sound, it's just cool what they did. I mean, some people hated it because, you know, they took out solos and all this other stuff, but like the tone that they had in terms of like the instruments and everything, like that 90s
Yeah,
guitar tone is literally one of my favorite tones and stuff. So
for sure.
yeah,
Mine
no,
too. I
I
feel
feel
like that's
that.
a constant reference.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's just really good. But so let's talk about like whatever, man. Because
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
y'all are on the dawn of your third project.
Uh-huh.
Um, the songs so far have been great. Frankie Muniz is awesome. I already
Thank you
said the
so
art
much.
was crazy, but that art was wild. But yeah, so like kind of what's going into this album? Like I don't know how personal you all get with your music and things of that sort, but kind of, you know, what's all going into it?
You know, when we were making Surf, uh, we were kind of going through it because I mean, like we were broke and life was just hard. Like we were going through just different stuff at the time, like, and we were just kind of figuring out like what we were going to do with our lives. And we were sort of making that out of a sense of like we have to make something work because you know
Mm-hmm.
like we're getting older and like there are bills and we need places to stay, stuff like that. So there was a sense of urgency when we were making Surf. So I felt like when we made Surf, we kind of instantly made life better for ourselves after we made it, you know? So I
Yeah.
feel like whatever man was just the tone after. It's kind of like the weight being lifted off our shoulders and us just really getting to be like who we are as like writers and people. And like it's the first time that people get to hear us kind of be like, you know, sort of carefree. I mean, because we made the album really fast, you know. Uh for example, I want to say we started the album before maybe in March. And by
Oh,
the
or
time by the time that the George Floyd situation happened, we were like, we need to write a new album because we had already finished Whatever Man, and like, there's so
yeah,
much stuff that we need to talk about that's happened before we even got to put this album out. You know, so it was really just like Whatever Man. You're really peeking into like 2 weeks of our life where we were just like really zoned in.
right.
Um, but you know, I think you get like a mixture of like us having fun, but you know, I feel like we always try to slice in like personal moments. But I would definitely say it's like it's a happy album, like because we were happy when
Word.
we made it. So you know, it's cool to make an album. Like it's cool to listen to it because I always be able to look back and back. We were really happy during that time.
I feel that. That's what's up, man. Yeah, no, because I remember like I mean, Too Depressed for Sex was like one of the kind of, you know, hits over this way from Surf, and it was like it
Cool,
sounded
yeah.
so happy, but there was like a personal aspect to it. Like I was like, oh, this kind of dark, but this kind of great in
Thank
terms of
you.
just sounding
Yeah,
fun. But yeah,
yeah.
so I just wanted to ask that, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense because you know when Surf came out at the time, because I'm just thinking about the sound of the album, you know, and I'm just
Yeah,
like, this is a happy album, but then we put it out, and people were like, this is a depressing album, like they liked it, and I'm like, you know, like I was reading like the reviews that people were writing, and then they were like, it's existential. That's a word that I'll never use in my life to describe anything. Like people do not talk like that, bro. So like I'm not even thinking like, oh yeah, we being existential right now. Like I'm just like, man, the beat make me feel good, but we just talking about what's going on. So you know,
I feel that.
there's always gonna be some like angst and some depression talk, and you know, because you know people go through things at all times. So
Yeah.
it's some moments like that on the album for sure. But I just feel like overall, I don't know. We may put this one out, and people might be saying that it's existential and sad. I don't know, but to me, I feel like yeah, we definitely it's definitely happier than Surf though, for sure. Not, but
Right.
I wouldn't say it's like it's happy. It's like let's play sports. Like that was my like that was overly happy. Like I've never been that happy in my life. So I don't know how we made that album.
I feel it. So what have been I just have like a few more questions. What have been some experiences so far that just like magical experiences and stuff of that sort you've had so far with the group?
You know, we got to do a couple shows before quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Not nothing crazy like basement shows. Well, we did one basement show, and it's at this local place. It's called Parker too, and you go in there and it's like these like it's white art kids, smoking cigarettes and got stick and poke tattoos. You
Yeah.
know the type of people I'm talking about.
The
So it's
scene,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
yes, yeah. So it's like mainly that, isn't that, which is cool, and but our show, I swear to God, we had like black people in there for like the
Dog.
first time ever. And like after we did our set, which first of all, like at the end of our set, like we had a great set in my opinion. And we started a mosh pit and it was fun. Like it was a great time. But at the end of our set, bro, like my homies, there's a drum set. My homie is on the drums, like playing like a beat, and like my homies freestyling. And I'm like, bro, we reverse gentrified the city. Like that was like, that was when I was like, Blackstarkids is like a miracle, bro. Like we're reverse gentrifying so many things at a time. We taking all they swag, and like it's about time that we take something and make it ours. So that was sick. And then of course, like getting to talk to some people who you look up to was like sick. Like getting to talk to like Biba Doobie was like really, really sick. Because I really like, she's the same age as me, but I could say like I really do like just look up to what she's been able to do. So stuff like that's really sick. And then Frankie Muniz tweeting the Frankie Muniz video.
Yeah, I
That
saw
was
it.
that was crazy. That was crazy.
Man. So what's the scene like there? Well, you can say like where y'all from and all that stuff, but like what's the
Yeah.
art scene, music scene like?
The art, bro, I'm not gonna lie. In Kansas City, the art scene is amazing. Amazing. It's a great place to be an artist because probably not no, I'll say this, not a good place to be a rapper. Like that's a whole different scene just because they
Mm-hmm.
like not really that supportive of you. And then if you get like big, like you gotta worry about like people trying to kill you and stuff. Like it's kind of whack. So, but
Mm.
if you're like a visual artist, or you do like alternative sorts of music, um, I gotta say the Kansas City scene is kind of like the people who quote unquote run it is kind of whack because they're like very gatekeeperish. You know what I mean? And I
Mm.
feel like I'm not even trying to sound like I'm complaining, but I just feel like because we've been blessed, and like the kids here are amazing because they're so supportive to everybody. Like there's so much room to be whoever you want to be, and people will support you, and it's like truly a community. Like people look out for each other and stuff. Like it's a beautiful city, but it's just like the gatekeepers to kind of hold it back, I think, from being like to its full potential because they want things to be like a certain way. And like when we were trying to come through and like make a name for ourselves just like amongst the city, like it was a lot of people who own these venues and own these places who was they was not trying to see
Yeah.
that happen. And
Yeah.
it's crazy because like you'll see like we have friends who are in bands too, but they're white kids, and they'll hit a venue up to perform, and we're on the same level. Like it's a small venue, and they'll hit a venue up to perform, and they get a show, and we asked to perform, and yeah, nah, nothing. Like it's just like, oh man,
Yeah.
but it ended up being a thing where it's like kids want to see us perform, but it's like we have nowhere to perform. Nobody will let us. So it's like that's the only thing that's whack. It's like the gatekeeper. But other than that, it's a great community.
Yeah, I kind of feel that. That's kind of how it is, like with Detroit, because Detroit's kind of like this legacy city in terms of music and stuff. Like so much comes from
Yeah,
Detroit,
legendary for real.
but we literally have a situation where it's like it's a surplus of creatives and really dope creatives, but who owns this and who owns that? Kind of the decision makers. Sometimes a lot of people get kind of stomped or they get like like a dead end. At least from just kind of what I see, like watching people move here. So I feel that I feel like that's just kind of like a universal thing we're seeing
Yeah.
now. more Black kids are finding. I mean, we've always created music and stuff. It's just that now it's like you got all this software you can get and all this other stuff,
Yeah,
and it's so accessible that
yeah,
it's just interesting seeing how many Black people and just want to create now and
yeah,
need those spaces.
for sure. Because I mean, we're living in a time where I think now more than it's been in a long time, Black people just want to see Black people win. You know, because
No, I
I feel
feel
like there's a lot of people who like you might. I'm not sure. Like you might feel similar because like you make like alternative music too. But there's a lot of Black people who are like, you know, man, I don't even like your music for real, you know, but it's great
but I'm gonna
to
mess with it.
see.
Yeah, no, I feel
Yeah,
this.
like
Yeah.
like you keep being you. I love that. I support you. You know.
Yeah, I think people just starting to get it because, especially with everything that's happening, like recent, it's just like we ain't got no reason to not, show love. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
because I
no, that's real,
yeah, because you know, growing up in the 2000s, they gave you such a hard time. But it's
bro. Yeah,
beautiful now to see like the young Black kids like, oh man, like he weird, let him be weird. He want to play guitar,
yeah,
let him play guitar. He want to, dye his hair pink, let him dye his hair pink. You know, like it's not hurting anybody. Like there's so much stuff that is hurting us. I think we're starting to ease off on the things that are just people are just expressing themselves, and I think people just like to see Black expression from all walks of life these days more than ever, because I love it
yeah,
all, like no matter what you're doing, like it might not even be my cup of tea, but if I see like something about like Black people being themselves and expressing themselves, and I'm like, yeah, you got my support. Like I find it like I hate on stuff way less than I used to like years ago, you
yeah.
know.
I feel that, man. That's what's up. But yeah, so thank you, for taking this time to talk, man. Really just wanted to hear about, the group and everything. Like I said, I'm super happy for everything that you all
Thank
have
you
been
so
able to
much.
do. And will do. So yeah, you know, if you have any last like remarks or something you want to say, stuff that's coming, without spoiling anything or whatever,
Yeah,
feel free to do that too.
yeah, okay. I just want to say I really appreciate you for
Yeah, man.
one, just being who you are, because people like you makes it easier for people like me, and like we make it easier for each other. So I just appreciate you on that level. But two,
Thanks,
just
man.
for
Thank you.
for never being afraid to like show support, because a lot of people are very quiet with their support, even if it's something that they like. So I really appreciate you
Yeah.
allowing me to be a part of like your platform and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. And whatever, man, is coming out soon, and I gotta say, man, it's probably one of the best albums you'll hear all year, in my opinion. Just give it a try. I feel like
You
if you
love to
listen to
see
it,
it.
it'd be hard to be disappointed. Uh, and is there anything else I want to add? I don't know. I think that's it. I think that's all I got.
Word, man. Well, like I said, thank you, man. Um, I know you was talking about getting some rest, man. I'll let you get to that. But
Yeah.
but y'all, you be easy, man.
Okay.
This
Thank
will
you.
probably be on, yeah, for sure. This will be on the website as well as, if you want a copy of it, I can also email you a copy of
Cool.
it if you want.
Cool. Yeah.
So
I'll
just,
just like
yeah,
I'll
you
just
just
post
text
on
it
my
to me.
socials when it's done.
Okay, for sure. All
Yeah.
right, dog.
Cool.
You be easy.
All right. You too. Thank you.